Alright guys, welcome to the first episode of what's going to be an ongoing series in which I'm going to be doing technique breakdowns. I'm going to be doing sort of questions on things that are specific. I'm going to share sort of stories and experiences from my fight career. I put a thing up on my Instagram asking for sort of this type of stuff and content that people want to see. Obviously technique breakdowns was a big one, fight predictions, fight breakdowns, that type of stuff. And then outside of that, there's sort of a big sort of request to sort of break down experiences from, my fight career, and especially sort of, I guess, things for up and coming guys that are sort of just starting their pro journey. Sort of things they can sort of, I guess, listen to and potentially apply or think about as they're transitioning to their pro career. So yeah, it's gonna be like a wide range of things. I'm just gonna have some fun with it. It's sort of, I guess, a foot in the door for a few things that I have in the pipeline that I want to sort of work on, and this is sort of one avenue that I want to focus on as well. So yeah, I appreciate everyone that sort of got in touch and sort of gave me things or potential sort of prompts that they want to see. But as I said, it's going to be ongoing, so I'm just going to pump out stuff and then just get it going and kind of just see what happens from there. But I guess ideally in the first instance it's going to sort of just be on Instagram and then potentially sort of build onto YouTube as well and kind of just go from there. But as I said, just going to have fun with it, just cover things like that and just kind of go forward. But one of the first things that someone asked about was breaking down sort of what international fight weeks for fights that I've had look like. So like, for example, I guess my recent fight in China, where I fought in Jiaxing in Shanxi province in China on JCK. So yeah, I guess this would be sort of the first sort of step or the first sort of episode covering sort of something that's requested. And I guess this is a good one to start with. So yeah, fight week in China was interesting. Obviously, very well structured. JCK is an interesting promotion because they're a well-backed promotion financially, and they have a very professional media and production team. So the production levels are through the roof, the media stuff is through the roof. But in terms of the actual sort of sports side of things, I think that's where there was like a few things that they still need to add. But they're only 4-5 years into their journey, so you can sort of tell that they're sort of building and expanding. But fight week was, for the time that I was there, and for the most part, it was very professional, very well run. Things were on time. When they said that we were going to do like interviews, photos, poster signings, anything like that, it was pretty much 100% on time. Everything was well run. The press conference ran smoothly. The media ran smoothly. The actual weigh-ins, the ceremonial weigh-ins, and the actual fight show itself ran like clockwork. So I can't say anything bad about that. But initially, yeah, fight week was interesting because they're obviously bringing people in. They have like a full-on facility, much like the UFC PI that they have. So you're staying there. You have access to all the training facilities that are world-class. That's obviously where the arena is, much like the UFC Apex sort of style. So they have it all set up. It's all in one place, and then they sort of just cater everything to that. Obviously, like anything, like any sort of fight or experience somewhere for the first time, there were a few hiccups. Like obviously food-wise, there were a few hiccups with getting specific stuff that I can eat through fight week or cutting weight. But they ended up coming around and making sort of stuff happen that we needed or that we required. But like I said, getting us through everything that we're sort of required to do on fight week was a breeze. Dealing with the staff was a breeze. The actual show was lots of fun. A few interesting things to think about if you are going to potentially fight in China, probably good to know. So in terms of JCK, they're pretty much, they're using the unified rules with a few little modifications. They're obviously no 12 to 6 elbows, and they're still using the old grounded rule. So 2 hands down, fingertips down, that's technically you're grounded, so you can't kick a knee when someone's grounded to the head. And another interesting factor, so they don't allow spinning elbows, which was interesting. That was kind of something that we asked about at the start, and when they broke it down for us. So they don't allow spinning elbows. So if you're fighting in China, you're fighting in JCK, probably double check that the rules are sort of in line with that or where they're at. And something interesting to know for people, I guess, as well, that potentially are going to fight in China, but or whether it's on JCK or somewhere else. China does allow the use of IVs to rehydrate after you've weighed in. So if any international fighters or fighters are potentially going over there, depending on what weight class you fight in, depending on how much weight you cut, obviously I'm not an expert on rehydration and IVs. I just do what the professionals tell me to do. But that is an option there if it was something that you needed to do, require or that you want to do. But it's crazy because obviously over here in Australia and it's obviously a bit different. Over in America it's different. So yeah, there's probably something interesting to sort of pencil in as well. If you do fight over in China, you are allowed to use IVs to rehydrate, and it's very easy to get it organized with the people that you're dealing with and the promotions and stuff, and then you just go from there. But all in all, International Fight Week in China was fucking cool. Their sort of process was overall really cool. It was one of the coolest experiences I've had with two of my good friends. But a few there's obviously, like I sort of touched on earlier, JCK's production, their media team is world class. How they sort of, for the most part, run things is world class. Obviously, sport wise, and a few little things. There's things that they can tweak from the MMA side of things, but that's going to come with the territory and sort of come with the years of experience, because obviously they weren't ever involved in the industry before this. So I highly recommend, if you get the opportunity, if you're a fighter and you get the opportunity to fight there, I 100% give the blessing to say, yeah, do it. It was cool. It's an experience you'll like, and they look after you. And then obviously there's a few little hiccups that you might have to sort of process a bit. Obviously understanding that, little things like that throughout fight week that you might need, like while you're cutting weight. Obviously making sure that you have access to lots of bottled water, because something simple like that. Liaising with the kitchen staff themselves and sort of promotional staff themselves to sort of ensure that at the buffet 3 times a day you're having access to stuff that you can eat, that you can process, and not sort of struggling on that avenue. And then it's just little things like when you're going over there, if you're over in China, make sure you have WeChat, make sure you have Alipay. That's how you pay for stuff. It's all digital. Make sure you use the Google Translate app so that you can scan products in stores and know exactly what's in them, especially while you're still cutting weight and you're not really actually sure what the content is of the product that you're trying to buy. Same thing, Google Translate app comes in handy if you do get stuck and there is, a barrier or something that you want to get done. But for the most part, people are lovely, people are super helpful. So, and Jiaxing in Shaanxi province is, by Chinese standards, they consider it to be a small county town, but it's bigger than most Australian cities. But people are lovely, people are super cool, and the staff and just everyday people you deal with are super lovely and super helpful. So yeah, for anyone that's considering fighting overseas somewhere like China, I say do it. It's a cool experience, and it's something that you will thoroughly enjoy. But yeah, like I said, going to be doing more of these, especially technique breakdowns and stuff like that. A few things that have been requested, but I appreciate everyone that got in touch, and I look forward to seeing where it goes. This is Lockjaw, and peace out. Love, love, love.